Good morning. Good morning to all my family and friends on my YouTube channel. And for those who watch me on Facebook, when I share it from YouTube, Demetrius Thomas coming to you via video this morning, all about Mental Health Awareness Month. So you all know I always share or go live. I used to go live on my Facebook page to share with you all with some type of insight, some type of new knowledge, some type of understanding, all the things that are attached to my life personally. Am I an expert? Nope. Matter of fact, my degree is not even in anything dealing with health and fitness, but I have some certificates. You all know this is how I started my journey, sharing my whole complete life transition many years ago. And here recently, in the last couple of years, my whole life shifted. And I'm just now getting back to the consistently path of sharing things that I've learned, sharing things that I've experienced, sharing things that help me grow, sharing the things that help me become a better person, the best version of myself. So this is the path that I'm taking. I'm always go live on Facebook, but I have been encouraged and inspired and coached to use my YouTube channel for what has actually helped transition my whole life. So many different segments that I've used within myself to get to this place of healing and on an amazing journey to becoming whole again. So with that being said, of course, this month is Mental Health Awareness Month, and we always think about physical health, we think about spiritual health, emotional health, financial health. Those things are easy to talk about, they're easy to discuss. But what I'm learning as I research and as I study the Mental Health Awareness Month, a lot of times we don't want to discuss mental health because of the stigma. Mental health, because of the stigma that's behind what people will think of us if we're ever diagnosed, or what people think of us. And I even think of my own self. As you all know, I'll always share this because things that have really transpired in my life are things that have helped me change and grow. When I get it, y'all hear me say, y'all get it. So these are the things that I usually share very transparently about. And that is, and I think mental health is so funny because I'm always, like I said, easy to discuss other things and many of the other different avenues and journeys in my life. But I can't help but take this month and look at it totally different. Finally, you all know my son passed 2019 November. So 2020, I went on a deep. I was distracted. 2021, I went when I really got by myself, and I went on a deep journey to healing my mind and my heart, and my soul. So therefore, now that it's May, and all of these years that I've shared about things that was connected to the spiritual, things connected to the physical, and even you can take mental and connect with the emotional. So now I look at this month totally different. I think because of my own personal journey. So what I want to share with you this morning is mental health is a taboo subject. We don't want to talk about it. And I'm learning even in our culture, sometimes in our environment, we never want to discuss it because of the stigma. The way people will look at you. Like sometimes whenever I would go live and I would share it, some of you all see me on some of my most broken days, and I would go Facebook Live in the tears, and I would talk about my son I couldn't hardly breathe. I mean, the anxiety would even take over whenever I was going live. So And I'm saying that because sometimes it felt like a weird place, but I was being very transparent. It was who I was. It was my experience, dealing, with so many different things over the last 2 years. But now when I look at Mental Health Month, I can honestly say, my goodness, that's part of who I am. That was part of my journey. That's how I got to where I'm at. It's because I had to address like the mental health side of the journey that I was on. The spiritual, I had that down. I have friends who pray, intercede, fast, my own self. I knew how to do all of that. And I say friends because there was times that I couldn't do that. I knew about the physical. An avid runner and person that, go to the gym, take care of my health, and even my book talks about that. But when it comes to mental health, it wasn't until this month. I usually study the month before what's going on for the next month. It wasn't until I began to really put in the work, and to prepare myself to do what I'm doing now, and which is sharing with others my experience, and hopefully and prayerfully that they would desire to even change or to look at my life and know that I've been called and I've been chosen to do this thing this type of way, as far as helping those to want to, praying that those that will desire to just become the best version of themselves. And so with that being said, mental health now is a part of my life, just like physical health is just as important. It's been there all the time, but it's not until my last 2 years that I had to dig deep, and I had to really tap into what was going on in my mindset, the mental aspect of it. And this is day 4. The last couple of days I've shared the difference, and I can't wait to go live. It's just that I haven't I haven't really been orchestrated to do that yet, but it's coming because, my lives can go 30, 45 minutes, sometimes an hour, because I have so much to share, and I'm at freedom and liberty, and folks hop on and they share their comments and they make their statements. But I'm using my YouTube channel because it's no distractions, and I can just share with you what I need to share with you. So mental illness and mental health is two different things. I talked about that yesterday. So my mental health journey, and there was a time that I was diagnosed with a mental illness. Believe it or not, it was depression, anxiety, and stress. You all have no clue of the difference. When you really look at the difference in mental illness and mental health, you'll understand, because I didn't realize that after the death of my son and all the things that transpired afterwards, I was in a deep, deep, dark place, which is depression, which is a mental illness. And you can come back from that. But you have to recognize, I said it yesterday, if you don't face it, you don't fix it. So you're like, a mental illness? Yes, depression is a mental illness. People are deeply depressed. And when you don't go and you don't get help for that, and you don't learn how to process that, and you don't really seek that, or that's never a diagnosis, and you just reside in that energy, you think you're healed from it. No, this is why once I began to do my therapy, my grief therapy, she helped me see so many things. I remember her saying to me, the first 2 or 3 sessions, the first thing she said to me was, we got to get you some sleep. You're not sleeping. Like, I need y'all to get this, because it's a taboo subject. We don't want to talk about it. The depression that you're experiencing, the first thing I need you to understand, y'all need to get this, because no one is talking about it. No one wants to go, and no one wants to get help for it because of the stigma behind it. But when she told, I realized I was deeply depressed, and I was traumatized from the death of my son, traumatized from that terrible connection, traumatized from things that were brought to my attention. And you say, is she going to talk about this all the time? Yes, because I need you to understand that we come across people. We're sitting at jobs with people. We're going to church with people. We're hanging out with people. We're running races with people. We're going to the gym with people. I'm serious. That look normal. That look okay. Mental illness and mental health. The reason it's so taboo, and the reason the stigma's behind it, America's made it a terrible thing. Our friends and family have made it a terrible. Our culture, my culture. What goes on in this house, stay on in this house. Who knows that sentence? Who knows that? I was the parent that said that. Guess what? Later on in life, then I turned around and was the parent that said, come on, son, we're going to counseling. Come on, son, we need some therapy. Come on, we need to fix this. Whether it's spiritual counseling, did that too. Then I had to go into physical. And then I had to go into people who were blessed to be able to tap into those things. Family members, siblings, let's go. We need counseling. We need therapy. I know what you need because I've already experienced it with my own children and my own teenagers. So my thing is, it's a taboo subject, and America has made mental health and mental illnesses a taboo subject to talk about because they have been judged. We've been judged. But if I hadn't have said there's something not okay in my mind, I'm mentally unhealthy. This is where it started. I knew something was not okay. I had friends who said that you're going to have to get therapy. And I did. And am I walking in someone's office? Or I was blessed that my therapist, because it was during COVID, came to my house. It was a blessing, a huge blessing and a breakthrough. So once I recognized what I needed, my friends recognized told me, what I needed, then I could do the work. And I'm looking back over my live feeds that I've shared with you all for over the past 2 years. Basically what I was saying, I had to get emotionally healthy. I had to go seek what I needed to do for me to put myself back together. It was an open transparency. There was no embarrassment. I would talk, tears would fall down my face from the things that I experienced the last 2 years. So therefore, I could get the help that I needed because I was mentally unhealthy. I had to work on it. I had to work on the depression. I had to fix it. And then I learned so many different ways to deal with the diagnosis, the depression. Like I said, when my therapist told me that I needed to, first, we got to get you some sleep. We tried some things. I didn't like the way I felt, so I did not take the prescriptions. But then I went over into overtaking some things that were over the counter, to get me to sleep. Then I noticed I was taking those too much, too often. Then that's where a lot of my wine came in at. Confession, thinking that it could just relax. Then when I looked up, it was almost an addiction. These are things that I had to face. These are things that I had to heal. I had to go back to my roots, which is basically spiritually. And I had to begin to trust on levels that was beyond myself. That I had family and friends that was fasting and praying for me. And then I had to get these things broken off of me. And this is why I can reside in the energy that I'm residing in now. I had to tap into the mental health part of it and some of the mostly the spiritual to get to the healing where I'm at now. A lot of work. I'm telling you, a lot of work. And I'm at liberty and at freedom to share with you all my experience. Mental health awareness. It's May, Mental Health Awareness Month. And you need to be okay with talking about it. You need to be okay with discussing it, because if you only knew, I was just looking at a statistic. I got to go live soon, because a lot of times people don't want to talk about it. Y'all, 43.8 million diagnoses with mental illnesses per year. And I'm going to tell you something. I shared this with somebody maybe last year. COVID set off a whole new level of mental illnesses that folks don't want to talk about. COVID, being home for a whole year, being separated. The school systems are suffering to this day from what took place in 2020. I knew it. I could see it. I had the revelation and understanding. Now, I told you the effects of COVID would not really be in full force for at least 3 years. And we're seeing it now more and more. So mental illness is real. 43.8 million. 8 million diagnosed with a mental illness. And you're looking at, we're thinking, oh, it's something, mental illness is a taboo subject. No one wants to talk about it. No one wants to discuss it. But it could be things such as depression, anxiety. These are things that are undiagnosed and not treated properly. This is why you're looking at people every day that are experiencing this, have not done the work. They're looking like you and I, and they're filled with it. They're filled with it. And as times go along on this earth and on our journey, trust you and me, it's going to come out somewhere. It's going to seep somewhere, and we're not even going to understand where it's coming from. Well, it's 12 minutes in. It's supposed to be my 10-minute talk about it segment, and I got to be obedient and hop off, but I will be going live tonight. Maybe tonight, not tonight, definitely tomorrow, all about mental health awareness month. I have some amazing things that have been, that I've learned, that have come across my plate, that I've experienced, that I know it's time for me to share. Y'all have an amazing Wednesday. Just know that you're worth it. You deserve to live a healthy and a whole mindful life. You deserve it. Put in the work. Watch what happens. Love, peace, and happiness. The Peacologist.